Hello, everyone. My name is Owen, and today we are going to start out with the first part of a multi part introduction to the stock market. This module will go over what a company is and how they operate. Many of you may know what a company is and how they operate. You may want to start further along in the curriculum, but if you need a refresher, this is the perfect video to watch. Today, we're going through a simulation on how a company works and going through terms like profit, revenue, expenses, salaries, employees, employers, competitors, and more. Before we get into the simulation, let's start out with the basics about what a company is. A company is an operation that sells goods or services for profit. The definition may scare you because you may not know what goods or services are or what profit is, but we have broken it down over the next couple of slides. Starting with goods. Goods are physical things that you can buy and sell. For example, the food you ate for lunch and dinner is an example of a good. A computer or phone in which you are watching this video on is a good as well. The bed you sleep on, the couch you sit on, and the table you eat at are all examples of goods as well. And these examples are goods because they are physical things. You can touch a table. You sleep on a bed, therefore you can touch it. Services are slightly harder to understand. Services are actions of work that you can buy or sell. You can't physically touch a service like you can a table. For example, when a barber cuts your hair, the barber is providing a service to you that you or your family paid for. Other examples of services are search engines like Google or video sharing platforms like YouTube or social media like Facebook. When you go over to your neighbors to walk their dogs or rake their leaves or mow their lawn, you are providing a service to your neighbors as you are doing actions of work. You can't touch an action, but you can touch a good. So a table is a good because you can touch it, but raking your neighbor's yard is not a good because you can't touch it. It's an action. Therefore, it's a service. Services are actions of work that you can buy or sell. Now that we have the basics of what a company does, we're going to go into an example of a company to see how they work. So over the next couple of slides, we will dive into how a company works using a lemonade stand as an example. Before we start, I would like to say company and business are synonyms, so you can use them basically interchangeably. One of the basic forms of a company is a lemonade stand. Anna, a fictional character that I made up, decides that she wants to run a lemonade stand. So she goes to the grocery store and purchases the ingredients to make lemonade, which are lemons, which cost $3, water, which costs $2, and sugar, which costs $5. Water, lemons, and sugars are all examples of expenses. Expenses are the costs required for something, in this case, lemonade. If this isn't clear, think about if you decide to sell your paintings. To make a painting, you need paint, paper, and paintbrushes. Because paper, paint, and paintbrushes are all required to make paintings, they are considered expenses. Now that Anna has ingredients to make lemonade, she decides to set up her lemonade stand the next day and she starts to sell lemonade. She decides to price her lemonade at $2 a cup, and she sells 10 cups. The total amount of money that she made from running the lemonade stand is the 10 cups multiplied by the $2. 10 times 2 is 20, so she made $20. In the business world, the money made from the sale of a good or service is called revenue, so Anna made $20 of revenue. But that is not the amount of money that she earned. Remember, it took Anna $10 worth of ingredients, which we calculated on the previous slide, to make the $20 worth of lemonade. So the total amount of money that Anna made is the $20 of revenue minus the $10 of expenses, which is $10. The $10 she earned is called profit. Profit equals revenue minus expenses, and that is the amount of money that Anna earned overall from her business that day. The lemonade stand is a simple form of a company. Going back to the paintings example, which I said on the previous slide, we can again have an example of revenue versus expenses versus profits. Let's say I sold 5 paintings for $3. I would have made $15 worth of revenue because 5 times 3 is 15. But the paint, the paper, and the paintbrushes combined also cost $10. Because the revenue was $15 minus the expenses, which are $10. There's only $5 left over, which is the profit. Now, let's review the concepts we've learned so far. Expenses are the costs required to run your business, like the parts required to make your product and the money that you pay your workers. Revenue is the money you get for the sale of your product, and profit is equal to revenue minus expenses, the money that you have left over after you pay all of your expenses, the total money you earn from your business. So on the previous slide, the expenses were the lemons, the sugar, and the water, which were $10. The revenue were the 10 cups, each costing $2, which was $20. The profit, which is revenue minus expenses. The revenue was $20. The expenses were $10. So the profit, the money that you have left over after you paid all of your expenses, is $10. Pause the video here and try to fill out the crossword puzzle based on the information you've learned on the past couple of slides. The answers will be on the next page. Alright, clicking the slide in 3, 2, 1. Pause the video here and check your answers. Let's go back to the example company. Anna's lemonade stand. So Anna decides that she wants to expand her company, and she hires her friend to set up a lemonade stand in another neighborhood. Now her expenses have doubled. Before she was purchasing $3 of lemons, $2 of water, and $5 of sugar. But now she has to purchase $6 of lemons, $4 of water, and $10 of sugar, because she is now selling more lemonade due to the second lemonade stand. But there's now an additional expense. Because Anna hired her friend, she has to pay her friend for the work that she's doing. Because Anna's friend owns none of the business, she doesn't get any of the profit or have to pay any of the expenses. She receives what is called a salary, which is a payment from an employer to an employee for work. There's two new terms here, an employer and an employee. An employer is a person or organization that gives work to people and pays them for it. An employee is a person who works for money. In this example, who is an employer and who is an employee? Please pause the video here and write down your answers. 3, 2, 1. If you said the employer is Anna and the employee is Anna's friend, then you're correct. Because Anna is providing work to Anna's friend and paying her for the work, Anna is the employer. And because Anna's friend is working for Anna for a salary, she is the employee. Companies are always generally the employer. Apple is a company and is the employer of over 100,000 employees who all work for the company. Now that Anna has hired her friend, there's now new revenue, new profit, and new expenses that we have to calculate. Anna's friend also makes $20 at her lemonade stand, and Anna pays her a $7 salary. Anna's total profit now is the revenue, the $20 Anna made on her own and the $20 her friend made, or $40, minus the expenses, which are $6 of lemons, $4 of water, $10 of sugar, and now the salary of Anna's friends, which is $7. So the total revenue, $40, minus the expenses, $27, comes out to a total profit of $13. So Anna's expansion was successful because she's now making more profit than she was before. Please look at the chart below, which gives you basically a recap of the slide. This slide is basically about buying a business and what that means. So, a competitor to Anna's lemonade stand gives Anna an offer to buy her stand for $1,000. So, there's two new concepts, a competitor and buying a business. So, what is a competitor? A competitor is any business that sells a similar product and is sold in the same region. So, Anna's competitor also sells lemonade at a lemonade stand, another lemonade stand. But they could also sell other drinks like bottled water and soda and still be considered a competitor, as people may drink water and soda instead of lemonade. In the real world, there are plenty of competitors. Coke and Pepsi are competitors because they both sell soda. Apple and Samsung are competitors because they both sell smartphones. McDonald's and Wendy's and Chick-fil-A are all competitors because they all sell fast food. So, what does it mean to buy a business? This means that another business wants to own Anna's lemonade stand So Anna would receive the $1,000 as the competitor offered to buy her stand for $1,000. And if she decides to continue to work, she would receive a salary. But the competitor who bought her business now receives all the profit but has to pay all of the expenses. Buying a business is a very common practice. Did you know that Facebook owns Instagram, or that Apple owns Beats, or that Pepsi owns Gatorades, or that Disney owns Marvel? Each of these are examples of one company buying another company. So now, again, let's review exactly what we learned. This is a matching review, and please pause the video here and try to match the terms on the left to the definitions on the right. Turning the slide in 3, 2, 1. Here are the answers. So 1 and D go together because salary is a payment for work. 2 and A go together because an employee is a person who works for money. 3 and F go together because an employer is a person or organization that gives work to people and pays them for it. 4 and B go together because a competitor is a business that sells a similar product in the same region as another business. 5 and C go together because profit equals revenue minus expenses. And 6 and E go together because goods are physical things that you can buy or sell. In the next module, we'll be applying the concepts we learned in this module to real life businesses. And then after that, we'll actually be getting into the stock market. Thank you for watching.